Good morning, y'all. I have some exciting news. We are getting ready to get back together. Church is starting to open up. On Wednesday night, we're going to have our first prayer meeting. That's June 10th. We're going to have our first prayer meeting at 7 o'clock. And so y'all come. We're going to pray about reopening the church. And then on Sunday, I don't have the details yet of how we're going to do it, but there will be another announcement. On Sunday, we will get to have our first Sunday morning in the church. And that's so exciting, y'all. So this is probably going to be my last video. I will let you know if I upload another one. But let's go ahead and go into the video. Okay, so we have been talking about, last week I talked about how Jesus likes to tell stories. And he really liked to tell stories that had to do with some kind of thing so that you could really understand the story. So today I'm going to be talking about sand. I wanted to show you, this is some of the kinetic sand that I have. It's really fun to play with. You can build a castle with it. It's really neat because it moves different. It's really cool to build with. Now the thing about sand is that it's fun to build with, and maybe you've made a sandcastle before on the beach. But what's something that you know about a sandcastle? It's not going to stay up. Either the water comes and washes it away, or somebody runs by and they smash it. You know, sand is not very sturdy to build on, right? It's fun to build out of, but if you were going to put your house somewhere, you probably wouldn't put it on the beach, not in the middle of the sand. So I'm going to talk about, there was two men that Jesus talked about in the Bible, and one of them built his house on the sand, and one of them built his house on the rock. So we're going to go to our Bible. It is in Matthew chapter 7. Now I'm going to be kind of careful with my Bible today because I don't want to make a mess. So I'm going to read the scripture and then we're going to go to some trays that I have. Okay, so Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 through 27. All right. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. So this is Jesus. He's talking to his disciples. He's talking to a bunch of people. He's talking to religious teachers. And he's telling them things about heaven and about himself. And so what he means, everyone that hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. His words are everything that he's taught. Y'all, his word is the Bible, the things that he tells us, okay? And so he says, everyone who hears these words and does them will be like a man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. Isn't that neat? So that's really good. So if we follow Jesus' words, if we are friends with Jesus, then it's like we're a man who has his house built on the rock. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. Okay? And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. I want to move my Bible. I don't want it to get messy. Okay, so here, let me show you. I have here some rocks, and I'm going to set a little house here on the rocks. All right, nice and sturdy. So this is like the man who built his house on the rock. And let's see. I have a little bitty colander. If you want to do this, you can use a big one, you know, like you drain your noodles and stuff. And I'm going to make a storm. So the rain came and the floods, oop, it's getting all over me. The floods came down, came up, and the wind blew. And even though the water is coming, it's dripping all over me. Even though the water came down and it rained and there's flood all around the house is still up, right? It's in the rock kept it solid and still. And so Jesus is talking about if we're friends with him, if we become Christians and we're saved and we're with him, we're safe, we're sturdy. And even though bad things can happen, because a storm can be a bad thing, right? It's scary. And the flood came up, and so maybe this guy can't go anywhere right now because he's surrounded by water, but his house is still standing and he's still safe. So if we're friends with Jesus, then that's what we get to experience. We get to experience safety in life, and then after life, whenever we die, we get to be in heaven with him, and that's always secure. Whoops, sorry y'all. Okay, let's see what happens with the foolish man. Now y'all, I didn't have any sand at my house, but I had something a little bit more fun. If you have some baking soda, you can do this too. Okay, so here's my other little house, and y'all, this is so messy. I practiced one time, and this is so messy, but it's really fun, so you might want to do it outside. Okay, so here we have something like sand. This is our baking soda. Ooh, goodness, look at that. Okay, and we're going to have some rain. Now, instead of water, I have a little bit of a mixture of water and vinegar in this one. All right, let's see if I can not drop it. All right, and the rains came down and the floods came up. Y'all, that's fun. I love water and vinegar and baking soda. And so here we have the house on the sand, and all this is fizzing and bubbling up. Uh-oh, I don't think I had enough vinegar. But here we see all this is coming apart. Oh no! So what happened to the man on the sand? His house fell down. All of his stuff, the sand that he thought that would hold up his house, it didn't work. All of the things that he cared about and he thought would keep him safe, it didn't work. And so here we have all the floods came and the rain came down and the wind blew and down went his house. And so that's like when we try to trust in things in the world. Like, you know what? I think I can be good enough to get to heaven. Or, you know, my mom and my dad are Christians, or my grandma and grandpa are Christians. So, I mean, I can go to heaven because I'm a Christian. But Jesus said that we have to be friends with him. We have to do like him, be like him. And so, one thing is, we can't be exactly like Jesus because we can't do it good enough. Jesus is the only one who could do everything in the Bible and fulfill all of the laws. And so he died on the cross so that he can cover up our mistakes. Whenever we do wrong, we can just apologize and tell him, Jesus, I'm sorry that I messed up. I'm sorry that I did wrong. I know that was wrong. And I believe that you died so that you could cover my mistakes. And so instead of having this house built up on how good we are and all the good things that we can do, instead we have a house that's on the rock that is still not fallen. So y'all, that's really fun to do. And y'all, there's a song, you know, the one that goes, the wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rain came a-tumbling down. Y'all heard that one before? I'm going to link a video with that full song because I don't like singing that whole song by myself. And so I'm going to link that video so y'all can watch that. And if you want to try this at home, I'm going to put a little bit of instructions in the description. It's pretty easy. You just need some baking soda and some vinegar. And I hope that y'all have a great Sunday. And I hope that y'all get ready because we're getting back together very soon. And I'll upload an announcement on that too. And I love y'all guys, and I miss you. And I'm so glad I get to see you again soon.